Chris, David, what's good in the world?
Drawing blank.
Yeah, my bad.
It's been a busy week, but I can't tell you what I've done at all.
Well, new Fallout came out. Very much enjoying the season of Fallout.
I'm 2 or 3 episodes behind at this point.
You gotta step up your game.
I know.
Well, today on the show, we have Jeremy Smith and Joe Peck. Fellas, I'm going to let y'all introduce yourselves. Jeremy, let's start with you.
Hey, everybody. Jeremy Smith. I am a product-focused Rails developer. I think I've been on Remote Ruby before in the past. Let's see, do the Indie Rails podcast with my friend Jess, one of the organizers for Blue Ridge Ruby, which is coming back this spring to Asheville. Oh, I'm now one of the facilitators for the Ruby Consultants Quarterly Gathering, which I've been talking up in every place that I can just because it's been a really awesome thing. And we just had our quarterly gathering last week and it was packed and had a really great discussion. So yeah, some of what I do.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Joe Peck. I've been a programmer mainly in Ruby, Rails, also Elixir and other languages for 20 years this summer. Yeah, I've helped out with all the Blue Ridge Ruby conferences we've had so far. And I grew up in Asheville, moved away to the Triangle for about 15 years and then came back. So it's been nice helping to start up a conference here. And also, I've been on the 2 Ruby on Trails experiences so far.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. Ruby on Trails. Yeah. In 2024, I realized I couldn't be involved organizing Blue Ridge the second year. I helped start the first year. The second year, I didn't have it in me to do it. But then I was really disappointed that I didn't have something to like bring people together. One night laying in bed, I was like, Ruby on Trails. Oh, that has to be something. I was like, I love backpacking. And I just like, as soon as I thought of the name, I was like, okay, this has to be something. Reached out to a bunch of people. We ended up having like a few people fly in for the trip for the first year. And then Joe's from Asheville. So we ended up like meeting at his house and dropping some gear and then driving up into the mountains to do a section of the Appalachian Trail. And then we did another trip this fall, a little bit smaller group, but did the next section of the AT beyond that. And it's been really fun.
A little smoother the last time around.
We had some crazy things happen, but yeah.
Well, I'm no stranger to crazy things happening on a trail. As Drew Bragg can tell you, he likes to tell everyone that I left him behind, which is true.
Oh, okay.
But he deserved it.
It was one of those safety situations. Like I was a lifeguard. And the first thing they teach you as lifeguards, don't ever become the second victim. And when I didn't see him, I didn't realize he had gotten so far behind me because I was in front. I waited for him and he didn't come. And I was like, okay, well, the sun is rising. It's July in Arizona. I'm trying to get out of this canyon. So
you just like tore off, left him behind.
Yes, I did. But on the nice end, when he got out, I was waiting at the trailhead in the car, which was another like almost mile walk.
Okay,
yeah, with the AC on.
You're like, here's your water.
Yep. So
nice.
All right, let's talk about Blue Ridge Ruby then. For those of our listeners who have never heard of the conference, you want to give a little blurb?
In 2022, I was going to a lot of Ruby and Rails conferences after the lockdown and people were starting to go back. And it was a really pivotal year for me. And in that year, I got to see 3 brand new conferences, like the first time that it ever happened. And it was really cool to see people start something up and see the differences in approach to a new conference. They were all pretty varied, but I really loved that. And I thought, I wonder how it'd be so cool to do something like this. Man, and by the end of the year, I think I was coming home from Rail SAS in LA and I was like, man, I want to do this. And so I just happened to tweet something like, what if I put on a Ruby conference in Asheville, North Carolina? Would anybody come? And I had all these people respond like, do it. And I'm the kind of person that if I am like egged on to jump on something, like you could probably get me over the edge. So that did it. And then Mark, our co-organizer, Joe and I's other organizer, he was like, hey, I live in Asheville. I'll help you out. Then the rest is history. 2023, we did our first year. It was great. Had a really good turnout. Joe and Mark ended up taking it over the second year. I ran it again, had a great time with people. I got to come back and do like the closing talk. Didn't have to do all the organizing stuff, but came back and really enjoyed it. It was just fun to also just be an attendee there and took last year off. And now we're back in 2026.
I've heard a lot of people talk about how much they enjoy your conference. What kind of separates it from the average conference experience like RailsConf?
For me, like part of the difference is it's single track. So you don't spend all your time in between talks figuring out where you're going to go. And also, this might have been your idea, Jeremy, but like having half-hour chunks in between the talks.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, that seems like a lot of time, but it ends up being a lot of times like the most entertaining, or like you learn the most stuff or meet people during the hallway track, sort of.
I can't even take credit for that. That was Jason Sweat, because I had been to Sin City and was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. All the things I had in my head were things I was just cherry picking from a lot of events that I've been to otherwise, which works out really nicely.
I think also, especially the first year, you helped set up like the weekend activities.
Yeah.
So the conference was Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, I think there was hiking, there was tubing on the river.
That was a hit. We had so many people out tubing. Like, some people had never been tubing before.
Yeah.
We just like hooked them all together. The tubing place like had these fancy tubes with, it had a bottom to it. So you didn't have your legs dangling in the water or whatever. And you could clip them all together. So we just had a long line. We even had a cooler with all the extra drinks and snacks from the conference. And it had its own tube. And then we were just passing stuff down the line. Hey, send me some chips or whatever.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. You either like float as part of the group, or you just unattach and float by yourself for a little bit and then rejoin. It was nice.
I'm already pretty committed to going to Blue Ridge Ruby at this point, but like I'm already really disappointed that I can't stay for the weekend activities because that Saturday is my anniversary. And so like I got to get back.
You sound like excuses, man.
Priorities.
Right. What's wrong with me? But like I'm already like, got it. I'm going to miss the fun activities afterwards.
I mean, you could have your anniversary weekend in Asheville. It wouldn't be a bad idea, in my opinion.
That's true.
And if you happen to bump into some people at a brewery, what are you going to do?
I'm not sure that's actually an option.
Well, Biltmore is really nice. I don't know if you've been to Biltmore. They call it like what, America's Castle, Joe, or something. It's like,
it's the biggest private residence, maybe in the US, I think.
Wow.
It's really cool. Like when we lived in Asheville years ago, we got like an annual pass and kept going back. I love the gardens and stuff like that. It's really, really beautiful.
I was literally about to ask if y'all were going to the Biltmore this year. I think, Jeremy, I've made my opinions on the Biltmore very clear to you at one point or another.
Yeah, I think maybe you did. And actually, I gave it as one of the options the first year and nobody went for it. It is more expensive. It's like $90. I think I'd worked out a group deal, but nobody sprung for the deal. So I lost my whatever money I put down on that. When nobody wanted that. They wanted tubing or hiking, but no Biltmore. So I'm still pushing it, but I don't want to try that again. I don't want to put money down on an activity people aren't going to do. I had to tell another interesting story, like from the first year. So this is one of my favorite Joe stories. Joe is like the guy that can get things done when you just have like a random crazy idea or you need something and you think it's not going to happen. One of the best examples of this was the first year. As we're going through planning stuff out, one of my friends, Thomas Cannon, he was like, hey, you really need a gong for the conference. I'm like, a gong? What are you talking about? Gong. He's like, yeah, you need a gong for the conference so that when people are out on breaks, you can bong, bring them back. And when you do lightning talks, that can be the signal that time's up on your 5 minutes or whatever for your lightning talk. And I'm like, that sounds cool, but where am I going to get a gong? So I'm like looking at these little desk-sized gongs, like you can get online. And I was like, I don't know, this is kind of cheesy. But I like mentioned it in our Slack group or whatever. I was like, anybody have an idea where to get a gong? I don't know, like a day or so later, I get an email that Joe sends. He had reached out to his band director from high school and was like, hey, I was in band back in such and such years. Maybe you remember me. I had a great experience. We're looking for a gong.
Yeah.
And so he got his band director to let us use their giant gong, like a giant gong, which he loaded in the back of your Prius or whatever. Like it was fantastic. It was great. Like it was like a real hit, as you might say. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I love that.
Did you know that downtime costs $427 per minute on average for small businesses and up to $9,000 per minute for medium-sized businesses? That's every single minute. Honey Badger helps you avoid costly downtime and saves you money by combining error tracking, performance monitoring, uptime monitoring, and more into one easy-to-use platform, helping you fix outages faster than ever. Best of all, Honey Badger is free to get started, and setup takes as little as 5 minutes. be sure to bookmark honeybadger.io. That's www.honeybadger.io.
That kind of nicely segues us into the realities and logistics of like planning a conference, right? How long have you been doing this? 4 years?
It started in 2023, but this is our third year.
Okay, third.
Going.
Kind of what has been some of the biggest changes that have been made like in planning from this year compared to the first year, or some lessons you've learned?
I was going to say one lesson that we definitely learned was to get, for video and audio, to get someone who has experience with conferences in particular. Yes. You might know how to film a wedding or record, I don't know, a speech or something like that, but it's not the same as a tech conference.
Do you know how to do HDMI capture successfully? Can you hook up to every presenter's possible computer setup and get a reliable output from that? Yeah, that's significant. I would also say the first year I fell in love with this theater that I really wanted to do the conference in. It was not fully handicap accessible. And that just stressed me out after I realized that until the end of the conference. And I realized I'm just not going to do that again. So now one of my first questions to the venue is like, okay, is this completely, ADA compliant? Like, what is the accessibility for this building? So I'm asking more questions like that I wouldn't have asked before. I just didn't even think about, but now I've spent so much time worrying about that I know to ask it on the front end. There were some other things. The first year, I was like, oh, we'll just take ticket sales through Stripe. Man, that was like so much manual work, because then I had to email everybody and say, oh, and now could I get your t-shirt size? And if you have any dietary restrictions, can you do it in this Google form? And then I have to collate the two, like to bring them, okay, here's the ticket they got, here's the person, right? And then so all this stuff. So like this year we just went with Tito for registration. It's fantastic. I like it on the attendee side for all the conferences that use it. It's been really nice so far on the event side too. It's so much easier. And now like doing refunds, I just hit one button instead of having to log into Stripe and do something else. And then also make sure that I don't order an extra shirt or whatever, that kind of stuff. The logistics, you just buried in logistics for conferences. That's really kind of it.
I was going to say, I think sort of along the lines of the like handicap accessible, the bathroom situation.
Oh yeah.
I think the first year it was at a great magical little place.
Yeah.
Their bathrooms, they didn't have many. So they were small.
There was,
so that's
remember they had that one in the basement? Like you could take the elevator all the way down to the basement or whatever.
I mean, it was a really cool building.
Yeah.
But that was my first question now, like finding a place. Like, what's your bathroom situation like?
Yeah.
What about the CFP process?
I was thinking about this earlier today. People talk about increasing your luck surface area. There's also like increasing the risk surface area, like when you do something like a conference, of just like wild things happening. And first year we did Google Forms, and then you're like managing all of these talk submissions like in a spreadsheet, trying to like, okay, how do I copy these out? And like, so we can read them, but then go in and do some kind of scoring or reviewing and that sort of thing. So second year you all did, Joe, I think you all did pay-per call.
I think we did do pay-per call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're going to do pay-per call again this year. And then last week, the form submission broke on their app. So I had like 2 people reach out and say, hey, I can't submit. Like I'm getting these errors. We go and check. Joe and I check. Yeah, we're each getting errors too. So I reach out to their support. No word at all. I'm like checking online. I see another conference had posted on Twitter that they were also having their pay-per call form had broken, and they switched to Google Forms. And so I'm like, all right, what do I do? Like if we switch to Google Forms now, we lose the benefit of all of the review experience. The thing that's like, you don't realize is that the review process is extremely time consuming. Takes so much time. So any tooling you have that can help you make that easier, because it's also spread across the team. Like you hopefully have several reviewers, and then you need to coordinate all their reviews. So if you have any tooling that you can use that helps streamline that, it makes that process way easier. So I didn't want to lose that by switching back to Google Forms, even though we would get our submissions back online. So I'm like waiting, hoping they would fix it before we ditch it, and then I can't use it anymore. And then we're split between 2 systems.
Yeah.
So after like, I don't know, 4 days of not hearing anything, it was like, all right, this is stupid. We're just going to switch to Google Forms, which we did earlier this week, and we're back in business. But unfortunately, we lose the software that gives us a nicer experience on the review side and helps make our job a little bit easier when it comes to the review, which CFP closes as day of recording here. It's 12 days. So it's February 3rd at 100 hours UTC. And then we're like diving straight into reviews basically for another week, maybe 2 weeks at the tail end of 2 weeks if we have to. We'll announce by 2 weeks, if not earlier.
I was going to say also t-shirts. I think the first year you sort of handled that, and I'm not sure. Did you get them from a Greenville place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And then the last time me and Mark got it from a place in Asheville, because we were like, if we have to make last minute changes, they're right there. And it sort of ended up being like almost too last minute. I think Mark was picking up the shirts like the day before the conference or something.
Yeah. Trying to figure out like, when do you buy food, like your snacks and stuff for the snack table and stuff? When do you set up coffee? I think the first year I was late on getting a speaker dinner reservation. If you want to do a speaker dinner reservation for like 25 people, if you're doing like +1s or something and your volunteer team or whatever, then like you need to do that, a few months in advance. So now that's on my calendar. I've done this now, like where I had special calendar just for Blue Ridge. I've now gone back and looked at all the dates for that and then set them for this year. So I know like, okay, I need to have speaker dinner reservation by this day because otherwise we might not be able to find a place to get everybody.
So what about sponsors? That's been the biggest theme I've heard at several conferences recently. It's like, hey, like we have some great sponsors, but it's not enough. Like we need more. And then having to kind of turn to the attendees for that, which I think is fine. And I think I would love to help because I enjoyed my time here. But I think that's been a very common theme recently is a lot of companies kind of buckle down on AI and all that stuff. So, well, it's kind of been the sponsor experience this year, especially comparatively maybe to previous years.
2023 was a different time in tech than now. Something that's been sort of surprising is like not just getting money sponsors, but getting people to sponsor an event or coffee or something like that. I've liked that. It's sort of been a nice surprise and it's definitely helped out with costs and the conference.
So far, we have 2 sponsors lined up. One was a member of the Ruby community who just reached out and said, I'd like to be anonymous, but I want to do this sponsorship. And it just kind of floored me. It was awesome. So thanks to that special person. And then also Adam from Judo Scale also reached out. And Adam came the first year. He and the guys from WAFRIS sponsored a board game night. And that was like a real hit. And it was great just hanging out with Adam too. So we're super excited to have him as a sponsor and have him back. Talking to a few more right now. Some will do like the typical sponsorship levels, and some are looking to do maybe some other special things that they like to sponsor. One that I know I can say is that Adrian from Avo is helping me with the Ruby passports. He's, I think, nearly finished second printing of passports. So we're going to work together. He'll be shipping them from Romania. So I got to like figure that stuff out so we can get our passports, set up our embassy and have all that ready. That's actually one of the new things to put on a Ruby conference registration form is, do you have your passport or not? Do you need a passport? Now on top of like t-shirt size and that sort of thing. So
I think besides like that, there's also been like local businesses willing to give discounts, hostels or places like that, or restaurants even. Yeah, there's a lot of like alternative routes for sponsors.
I've never heard that before, but that makes a lot of sense, especially because in a lot of areas in the US, like tourism is way down. So it's like, hey, we're bringing a bunch of people here. Like we can bring them to your business if you can help us out. That's a great idea.
But yeah, we're still looking for more sponsors. Talking to some folks right now, but would be very happy to have more. My goal has been to try to be 50-50 on ticket sales and sponsorships. And right now, I think we're mostly on track for that. I'm hoping that we can fill all 207 seats in this auditorium. It's not a huge space, but I think we can do it. I'd love to just completely sell out, and I'd love to have a handful of other sponsors. Would be good.
It's a nice space. It's not huge, but it's nice and historical.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Are you tired of babysitting your job queues? Let us do it for you. Judo Scale monitors and auto-scales your job queues so you can stop babysitting and get back to coding. We support Sidekick, SolidQ, Good Job, and just about every other job backend in Rubyland. And of course, we auto-scale your web services too. Judo Scale scales up your apps faster than any other autoscaler, so request timeouts and backed up job queues are mitigated before they become a problem. Judo Scale has a free plan you can use forever, so there's literally no risk, whether you're on Heroku, AWS, Render, or any other cloud platform. Visit judoscale.com and get your job queues under control.
So if someone is listening to this and they're like, oh, I could help. I have a business and I could help. Where can they reach y'all at for that?
Yeah, BlueRidgeRuby.com. We've got our sponsorship levels there. We're also open to interesting things. There's this really great ice cream sandwich place like a few blocks away.
Sunshine
They have this
Sammy's.
cute little, Sunshine Sammy's. They have this cute little truck they bring at the end of the conference that came into the parking lot. And then they're like, everyone's like getting their ice cream sandwich. It was like, these are like legit big ice cream sandwiches. They're so good. Oh, so that was like a special like sponsorship kind of thing. So totally open to cool stuff like that. Because those are the things that people end up remembering later. Like, oh, remember that conference where this happened? And it's like totally different from all the other ones you've been to. Like that's the stuff that makes that particular conference or that particular year really stand out in people's minds, like having those kind of interesting things.
Sort of on that note, I was looking last time, me and Mark, when we were setting it up, I know a local rapper here, and I was trying to convince him to do like a welcome rap, and then he seemed to think it was going to be like a big corporate event. He's like, I don't know what I can sing about there. And I was like, it's not corporate, but it didn't work out.
Didn't fly. Yeah.
No.
I love the creative stuff though. I haven't been to any of Jim Rem's. I did go to XO Ruby. I haven't been to any of his Madison conferences, but I've heard like some of the non-technical people that he's brought in to do talks or like some kind of presentation or thing like that connects to people's like artistry or craftsmanship and things like that. I love that kind of stuff.
What's the goal of the conference? Like, what do you want people to get out of this? Like, if I'm trying to convince my boss that I should go to this conference and they should pay for it, what's the draw? What do you want people to bring away from this?
I guess exposure to new technologies or new ways of using Ruby. There's a lot of that. The last one we had an AI, a speaker who used AI as his partner, like coding partner, back when it wasn't as commonplace.
Yeah, it wasn't as common then.
Yeah, and that was really cool and eye-opening.
I think for me, like I'll tell you, like this year has been, as soon as like the year flipped over to 2026, we're in this chaotic area for software development. I don't know if you read or seen Three Body Problem. Anyway, it's a chaotic era that we're in right now. It's probably the most chaotic I've ever seen in 20 plus years in software. I can't think of anything that's been more stressful. Like, where's the next threat coming from? What am I going to have to learn next? What is going to happen? Like, it feels so chaotic right now. And yeah, I've got work. I'm very happy about that. Still getting paid. I've still got good clients. But I feel like I'm noticing lots of just like raw, like chaos in our lives right now. And I feel like I'm seeing that in other people and their things that they're saying and like emotions they're expressing. And I think what helps people get through those periods, to me, it's like coming together. To me, it's like not just sitting in front of our computers and trying to continue upskilling to be saved from whatever, is coming for us, but to get together. To me, the times that we get together at conferences is like an investment in our long-term sustainability in this industry. Because when we get so focused on our apps and our code, so heads down in our companies and like the projects that we're on, it's so hard to like get your head back out, zoom out big picture and think about who am I as a human? What am I doing here? How does my work relate to anybody else? What am I accomplishing in my life? And I feel like conferences are a great place to do that. And for me, I need that on a regular basis. It's not just a treat. It is an investment in my longevity in this industry. And I love my work. So if I love my work and I need that, like I feel like everybody does. And maybe that doesn't sell for every boss. Like maybe some bosses are like, I need to see a straight line between the ticket sale and some like output that you have, next week. Maybe some people are like that. But anybody that cares about the long-term sustainability of anyone in this industry and just the avoidance of burnout, I think conferences are a huge win against that.
I want to kind of backtrack a little bit for a second, maybe. For me, on my trying to convince a boss side of the conversation, I use these conferences more as opportunities to kind of socially be able to meet other people working with the technologies that I'm using that I love. And you mentioned like the previous year with the board game night. Is anyone sponsoring a board game night this time? Because that's one of my favorite activities.
So far, no, but we do have a board game cafe. So I'm looking, like I mentioned that. Yeah, it is a really good one. And so I've mentioned that. I think maybe even I mentioned it on the sponsorship page. And so for sponsors that are coming interested in some other types of things they could do that's coming up, we're definitely open for that. If nothing else, I think a group could easily organize that one of the nights, Thursday or Friday night, easily could organize a trip down to the Board Game Cafe for that. So we don't have it official yet. There's so many things fluid up until the last month, but yeah, I think there's good chances you could crack open a board game.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I wanted to kind of backing up to the CFP again a little bit. What's the results been so far in terms of like, have you gotten many submissions? Is it a good kind of promising turnout so far? What's that looked like for you?
Yeah, I think we're up to like 50 submissions so far. I hope that number doesn't scare people off from submitting. There are only 10 speaking slots. The first year we had 55 submissions total. So we're at 50 right now. And most of those came in on the last day. So it's looking good so far this year. Looking tough for us as reviewers. Absolutely, for sure. It's a huge job to try to do that. And it's a really hard thing knowing that so many people are putting their heart into their talk submissions. So we care about that. We take it seriously. We're going to do everything we can to make the right choices. But for many people, my advice has been like, submit more talk proposals and submit to more conferences. Oftentimes, it's not that we didn't want your talk. If we couldn't accept it, it would be like, we'd be happy to see it another year, or happy to see it slightly revised, happy to see it at another conference. So it's a bit of a numbers game there, and we hate that. But we're very thankful for having a wealth of options. That's really nice, as a program committee, like trying to put a solid program together that can appeal to a broad audience, like in terms of people coming from lots of different areas in Ruby.
Has that helped with ticket sales as well? Sort of being several years in now, like people have gone to the conference and then have good things to say about it and spread the word. Does that help with?
I think it has. Yeah. I think we've gotten some, I can't remember how many sales so far, but it's still not as many as you might think. A lot of people wait. They wait for a couple things. One is they might wait till they find out about the CFP. If they're submitting a talk, we will refund tickets if people have already purchased one, but that's usually one of the perks is you get to go to the conference. So a lot of people will wait. If they didn't get their talk picked, maybe then they'll purchase a ticket. But they also end up waiting just because, life's chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen. So you wait like till a month or so before to make those final decisions. So I think that was really stressful the first year, especially just thinking like, will anybody come? And so far we're seeing like quite a few people that are back on board. That feels really nice, but still a lot of people wait. So it is still hope they come, but not nearly as like frantic as the first year. Like, is anybody going to come to this at all? So
yeah, hopefully a lot less stressful this go around, but I'm sure it's always just tons of stress.
So far it's been more manageable. It definitely is stressful, but there's so many unknowns the first time you do something. You don't know where the problem's going to come from. And now we have some idea of like where our problems might come from, where we've seen them before. We have some like patterns of, okay, this person was unhappy about this and we got through it and we know what to do now. Like a lot of those things, the anxiety of like trying to guess where it might happen, like is really difficult. But now that we've seen those things and gone through a lot of those things, and the fact that we're like Joe and Mark and I as a team, like we've done this and we kind of know what we're doing and we can rely on each other. That also makes a huge difference too.
Yeah, for the short-term gong acquisitions and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My only role.
So your CFP closes on February 3rd.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. We'll announce speakers by February 16th, if not sooner. It may take us 2 weeks to get everything nailed down, but hopefully sooner if I can.
The only time I've been on that side of reviewing things was RailsConf, and my goodness, that is not an easy process. So
I'm sure that's much more challenging because you have the multi-track thing. So there is something that's a little bit easier about you've got 10 slots, that's it. Rather than, well, this one could go in this one or this. In this time frame, we could have 3 different options. What do we put here so they're not overlapping? For us, it's just one track. So that is definitely easier. It's still a challenge. But
yeah.
Yeah, when you've got that many submissions, which you're already at 55, you said something like that.
50,
like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're already at 1 in 5 you can choose, but it's still 2 weeks away or whatever from closing the CFP. So
Yeah,
maybe you end up with 100 this time. Who knows?
I would guess I would guess north of 100. Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a
then
good problem, though.
you're going to have a great problem, but also you're going to have to reject so many good talks. And that's always tough as, an organizer, I'm sure. But
It is.
that's what is awesome too. You get to choose, and you can intentionally be different than other conferences that way too. Like, I feel like SF Ruby was this entrepreneur focused thing. It was like, we're just going to choose to be different than the other conferences. And I guess it kind of gives you the opportunity to do that too when you have more talks to pick from.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a really nice thing. And it gives you, like, especially not just like in topics, but also in the types of people that might be submitting. That's also really cool. To me, half of it is the topic, but half of it is the person and their story, where they come from, their perspective. And getting to see new people is really exciting. We'll have a mix of seasoned speakers and hopefully some that are new or have, like maybe haven't spoken at a Ruby conference before. We'll see. But yeah, I love seeing the variety that can come about from that.
Are you doing lightning talks?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first year, I don't know if we even had it planned until like the last minute, maybe.
We did have the sign up the first day.
Yeah, it was.
I think maybe we did. Maybe it was a little haphazard or something. I can't remember what, but it was a hit. So I think we will definitely do it again.
Yeah. That's
so we'll do
fun.
signups at the conference the first day, and then we'll do the lightning talks the second day.
Those will be signups in person or whatever again. Yeah.
In person.
Cool. Well, you've got some time between now and April 30th, but people should be buying their tickets now. That'll be here before you know it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. We've still got early bird tickets on sale for $249, and then they'll go up to $299 after that. First 50 tickets are $249. That's how I decided to do it this year. And also corporate tickets as well. If you are interested in supporting us as a corporate ticket holder, that'd be great.
So how many of those early bird tickets are left is my question. Like how much pressure do you want to put on there to get people to buy those tickets now?
I can't math right now, but yeah, there are some. So people can grab those. Speaking of SF Ruby, I really love the Clouds app that they built. I don't know if you saw that. Like, people could upload their avatars and it made like a little cartoon character of you with the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. So I'm working right now on a concept similar to that we could have to kind of share on social media. And I noticed that some people were also swapping out their avatars, their social media avatars as well, not just posting the social card. So thinking through some ideas there, and may see, I don't know if this would work, but my idea was like, I wonder if I could find somebody, a Ruby person in the community who would like build this app in public in exchange for a free ticket. That's like my idea right now. So
there you go, David.
David needs another project. I mean, with AI,
a lot of my time has been claimed recently, so I'm not actually looking for a new project right now. Thank you.
Well, maybe somebody will. This is just my idea right now. I've had a few different ideas for like software we could build that might be fun at the conference, but can't get too carried away because there's plenty of other just normal day-to-day details for a conference that you have to take care of first, and then you can do like the weird, wild stuff.
For anyone who's sat through this episode and they're like, oh, okay, I'm still not sure if I'm going to go or not, give your final sales pitch.
I'm no salesman, but I think after the first Blue Ridge Ruby, there was a lot of positive feedback. And one of the quotes that stuck with me was something like, it was a magical 2 days in the mountains, learning more about Ruby and meeting other Rubyists. And you just come away from it feeling better and knowing more.
I totally concur. That's been my experience too. Even the second year, just being able to go and just hang out with people. Because when you're organizing, you don't get to hang out. But being on this other side where I just got to hang out with people, go to lunch and hang out, man, such a great time and very life-giving. I love the tech. I love building stuff. But connecting to other people that have the same passion and love the same language, and thinking about our lives, getting to know each other better, and finding a place in a community, like that to me, like really lends itself to the longevity of kind of what I'm doing in software.
I'm going to throw my 2 cents in here just for the fun of it, just because I've never gone to Blue Ridge Ruby before. This will be my first time.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I decided to come was because of how I met you, Jeremy, at RailsConf this past year, and just like the relatively small interactions we had sitting next to each other at breakfast the day after the conference. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, Jeremy's really cool and he's kind of nice. I'd like to interact with him more. He's doing a conference, sold. And like that's my pitch for why people should come, is because Jeremy's an awesome guy. He's going to put on an awesome event. Let's go see what he does.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Joe and Mark are also awesome guys that you really need to know.
I did not mean to exclude you, Joe. I just
no.
One day I'll make it up there.
Few more gongs, Joe. We're super excited. It is definitely a lot of work, but I just can't wait for spring. That's going to be great. The dates are April 30th and May 1st. It's really annoying me that it falls over like this. I can't just say like the month. It's really annoying me. OCD thing, I guess. But anyway, Thursday, Friday, stay for the Saturday activities. If you can, like, unless you've got an anniversary, like literally you need to stay in Asheville for the weekend. It's going to be a good time. And yeah, tickets on sale, BlueRidgeRuby.com. Don't forget to book your hotels too sooner than later. Asheville is a destination town. Places can get booked up. I mean, it may not be as bad as other huge cities, but you know, for a small mountain town, a lot of people like going there. So it's going to be really pretty in the spring.
April 30th and 31st.
Exactly. That would be so much better.
So close.
Well, thank you guys for coming on and sharing. So I think we'll wrap this boat up here. I hope to see y'all at Blue Ridge Ruby. So it sounds like a great time. And yeah, see you next week.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
Cool. Peace.